Hey, AFTERBUZZ TV fans, tune in now. We're discussing Into the Badlands Season 2, Episode 1.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
I'm foolish, maybe I'm.
I had to start it from the beginning.
Totally.
It was so
The
good.
destination
Great
for TV
song,
superfan
great
discussion,
intro
AFTERBUZZ
to Season
TV.
2. I mean, what better way
And
to
now.
start it off than like a hit pop culture song?
Oh, yeah.
I literally, as I was like racing to get to the studio, this came on like 5
No
minutes
way.
ago on the radio. Yeah, I was like,
Oh my god, that's fantastic.
yes, it is meant to be. Welcome back, everybody. We've had a bit of a long hiatus in Season 1. It was like a year plus.
2015, December was our
Whoa,
season
way
finale.
too long.
Right?
Way too long. Glad to be back, though. We've got a bit of a new panel, some oldies as well.
Change it up a little bit. I
Totally, we gotta
I'm
keep
so
it fresh.
happy you're here.
Mike, introduce yourself. Where can the people find you?
Okay, guys, I'm Mike Kalinowski. You guys, if you've seen AfterBuzz, I'm out here on. I'm doing Taken, Iron Fist, and MacGyver over here, and I'm on our sister network on Popcorn Talk with DC Movie News.
Awesome.
That's where my kind of into this group was DC.
Heck yeah.
Nice. Alexis, you're a fan favorite, obviously.
I'm just happy to be talking about this show because it's my favorite right now. And you guys can find me all over social media at ATorres890. That's ATORRES890.
Awesome. And you guys can find me, JB, at Hey John Blake. Let's jump right in. We've waited long enough. Great. I mean, just right off the bat, I really liked this series, but this episode was a great start, I think, giving fans what they want. There's a lot of new, a lot of what we know and love, though. The fighting, the kung fu action.
Heck yeah. It was great.
Yeah, how did you guys feel just like sort of in general?
Go
And then
for
we'll
it,
kind
go
of
for it.
we'll kind of
Just
dive in.
for me, the world, like, because I knew it shot in New Orleans the last season, and New Orleans, it's been done to death. It's so. I used to live in Florida, so I've been used to going through New Orleans. It's flat, It's below sea level, it's swamp. There's not much you can do. So this just incredibly opened up the world, even in just one episode. You just the budget you see that they are now spending on this money. That opening
Right.
shot when they're in the quarry with all, you know, I'm sure it was a lot of digital enhancements, but just a great.
Totally. No, I'm glad you brought that up. I think the setting for me really was much more apparent. I mean, obviously, very specific with New Orleans and that kind of bayou, like swamp action we had in Season 1. Very different vibes from Season 2. And I agree with it. I like it. I mean, the scope feels bigger. It feels like a bigger budget. Like, I feel like I'm watching a movie. It's like Mad Max meets, like Batman Begins or
That's a good
Tiger
analogy.
and
That's a great
Dragon.
analogy.
That's
Pretty
fantastic.
crazy stuff. I mean, but it's all new. It's all fresh. Like, it feels like
Yeah.
somewhere we haven't seen before, and it feels like they're in.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess they're out of the Badlands.
Well, I mean, at least at this point, we are. I love how last season you and I were like, Ryder's gonna die.
Yeah,
He's-
exactly.
He's back clearly and still running the Badlands. I love that Quinn's old, like the mansion is like covered
Right.
in like brush and everything, but it looks more lush than it would be if it was in New Orleans because
Right.
clearly it's in a different part. But
Yeah,
it just looked nicer.
And then they had that kind of an oil refinery.
Yeah.
That still
Yeah.
kind of felt like Season 1.
It did.
So where they found in Season 2, they're in Ireland, right?
Yeah.
So whatever they
Yes.
found to kind of duplicate that area, it doesn't look like, oh, this doesn't look like Season 1. So that's really cool.
Yeah, and
Nice
especially like with the
continuity.
mountains too and the waterfall. I was like, yeah, we're definitely not in New Orleans
Yeah, exactly.
anymore.
No, and I love how they went to extreme lengths. Obviously, going to produce the show in Ireland.
Yeah.
Gives it such a fresh feel, makes it feel like we are worlds away from what's
Right, right,
going on with Ryder and Jade and everybody. Like,
Yeah.
it really feels vast.
Yeah.
Which was cool.
Which is, and that's the one thing I wanted. We've talked about. I didn't know how you felt about it since we weren't all here together, but that we were talking about how we wanted to see more of the land, not just the Badlands, like
Right.
just to see
Yeah.
exactly what our world entails. So I love that we get to see where MK has been taken to in this oasis, kind of like not Shangri-La. What am I thinking of? I'm thinking of Batman right now. So.
Oh.
You know what I'm talking about, like when you're up in the mountains and all the ninjas and stuff. I can't remember off the top of my head, but you know what I'm talking about.
That's going to kill me and I'm going to look terrible for not being able to.
No.
Continue, I'm going to
Yeah,
find it.
But like, you know, so like he's up there training and everything, and I love that we get to see, because Sonny was such a well pristine person. Now we get to
Yes.
see him in the gritty, like full of
Nanda
hair.
Parbat.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Nanda Parbat, that's it.
God,
Thank you.
it's
Sorry,
killing me.
guys.
It's
Sorry.
okay. I was on the
Nice.
same
Nailed
boat.
it.
It's been a
Pulled it out.
long
I'm
day.
impressed. I'm impressed.
Thank Thank you. But yeah, so it was just really nice to finally get more volume in the area and the world that we live in. I think it's great.
Absolutely. No, I couldn't agree more. I mean, I think that's sort of what has made this, or one of the things that's made this big gap,
Yeah.
like worth it. Like I'm so happy that they,
Yeah.
like they took the time to really put the effort into the series. It wasn't like, oh, we had some success, let's like bang it out like really quickly.
I think maybe it was a test, only doing 6 with the first season.
Right.
Like, let's see what we can do. And if you do well, we'll reward you, because it really did. You know, whatever the AMC taking the faith in them to do it and give them the money. I mean, they took the whole cast. They're in Ireland shooting. That's a huge amount of money to do that.
Yeah.
But hey, it worked.
Totally.
And plus 10 episodes, not just 6.
Exactly.
Yeah, thank goodness. Because I was like,
oh, man,
I don't know
I'm
if
so
I can
happy.
do
So many
another
things.
6-episode season. That was really
Yeah.
rough. But I'm also glad because we know, as people who watch a lot of TV, that you can have TV shows that drag in the middle,
Yes.
trying to reach those 22 episodes or those 15 episodes. So 10, I'm okay with, because it's
Right.
more than 6.
That's a great amount. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's a
no,
really
I
nice
feel like
amount.
I feel
and the fact that
comfortable
they're,
with
they're
it.
45 minutes or 42 minutes,
Right.
long, with commercials, so it's fine.
Right.
I'm okay
Plus,
with
I
it.
feel like with this show, I mean, obviously it's a very different type of show, but I think instead of like the procedural elements of shows that like run forever and like the basically like cop dramas or whatever,
Yeah.
this show can just like instead of filling that void with like dragging out, they just like fill it with more like badass like
Yeah.
fight scenes. It's like, yeah, I will totally take that.
And I love that we didn't have to slowly drag in the fight scenes. Like, we started off immediately into it, because I feel
The
like
pacing
sometimes-
is really
yes,
good.
and I feel like that's the one thing I love about the show, is that we're not, again, it's not just a bunch of exposition. We're like, we get it. Like, this is a place that we need to fight to survive.
Right.
Do you
Period.
guys feel that all the different subplots, not one of them gets shortchanged?
No.
And I don't know how the show does that.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
I don't know if because they realize they've only got X amount of episodes, so they have to really give everyone their due, whereas opposed to 22 episodes.
Where you could take your
some-
time.
Yeah, but this it works for the show, because you never find like everyone's got their moments and their story and fully fleshed out.
Yeah, because that's what I was scared of, was when we got season 2, that we would only be focusing probably on Sunny and MK.
Coming
but then-
back, yeah.
So I'm really glad that, I mean, as much as I'm a writer, but like the fact that we got Ryder and Jade, we have our twist ending at the very end.
I know.
Which I was like,
Oh,
what?
God.
How? And obviously we get to see Black, with Widow and Tilda. So like, yeah, we still got everybody back, and we got enough. Like, it wasn't like I needed more or it was
Right.
too less. Like,
Yeah,
it was
it
like
was-
exactly how you said it, well balanced.
Yes, very well. I mean, I couldn't have said that better. I think like with all the characters, they were sort of like, meanwhile, like this is what's
Yes,
happened
yeah.
and
Yeah.
caught us up
Yep.
with like the perfect amount of each character. Obviously, MK and Sunny were like the
Yeah.
show,
Of course, yeah.
last season. So they spent a little bit more time on them for good reason.
Yeah.
I was like, their stories are so much thicker.
Yeah.
But we also got tidbits of everybody else, like to see Tilda just like still
Yeah.
stone cold, like
Right, yeah.
like ninja-ing people in the neck, and
That
just
scene
like
was great.
silently, like the silent badass killer was so cool. Obviously, the Widow still doing her thing. Ryder still just not doing his thing.
I don't know how to feel about him still. Like,
I mean, I love like that there is a character like that you just like. It's so easy to hate. So he's
we were
like,
talking about that.
just-
That's kind of like the young son kind of
Yeah.
trying to live in his father's footsteps. It's always you're like, and he always comes off as whiny
Right.
or.
yeah.
I think it's just inherent
frustrating.
in that character.
totally, and
He's
it's
also
So-
really good at it.
Yeah, no,
so-
he's nailing it. Like
Yeah.
they are doing that role very well, because I think that is the reality in their world. Is the Baron casted a huge shadow.
Yeah.
and that being gone, like Ryder is not the son to like take that
Right,
mantle,
right.
like at all. I mean, he can barely even like hang on to Jade.
Yeah.
Like she should have been killed,
Right,
probably.
yeah.
Like I mean, the
Yeah,
Widow.
I'm surprised. Those two are the only two I was like, how are you guys still actually
Yeah.
running things? I don't get it.
Just this is gonna fall apart very soon.
Yeah, well, clearly we saw that, because
Yeah.
Widow was able to just break them apart. Well, not breaking them apart, but like rattle them. So
Totally,
easily.
and oh man, it's such a cool threat sheet when she like has her like the knife drawn.
Right,
She's
right.
like,
Did
yeah.
you guys think that she was gonna kill Jade right then and there?
I thought she was gonna like hurt her.
Yes,
but
me too.
maybe not kill her, because I think that it'd be too easy almost.
Right.
Yeah.
I want Ryder to at least do something that like
Yeah.
puts a thorn in everybody else's plans.
I was just curious.
But she could have. I mean, it
Yeah.
would have been smart. I think it's that classic moment of, I should have killed you when I had the chance, and I wanted to be merciful and do all this other stuff, but it's just, I'll kill you now.
So do you guys how do you feel about the widow's motivations now with where she wants to get rid of the barons? You know, she's taking in all the cogs and everything and kind of, you know, you're free to do what you want here. You're not slaves to me. That almost seems a switch
Yeah.
from season 1. And I'm very curious it's nice to see it's not just the barons fighting for this control. She's kind of trying to change the world that they're in, and I think
feel
that's
like
really
she's
cool.
always kind of had the undertone, but we never got to explore that because we only had 6 episodes, really.
Okay.
So we were mostly focused on the fact that she wanted to get rid of Quinn more than anything, and
Right.
trying to get MK into her midst. That's kind of where we were going with
Okay,
it, and
yeah.
her not struggling, but trying to make a connection, a deeper connection with Tilda. So I'm really happy that we got to learn more of what her actual cause is, besides, because at first I thought she only had an all-female
her group.
Clippers or
Clippers,
whatever.
yeah,
they're
Clippers.
called. I can't remember exactly what the chat, if you guys know, because I know that everyone
Yeah,
has
I
different,
think she calls her
a different-
like harem.
yeah, like a
thing.
different. I love the fact that it's a harem. It's great. But I also am really glad that we got to see more of Widow in this aspect because we got to see that softer side towards the end of season 1 with her little locket with the little boy in there and things like that. So I feel like this is now her time to actually grow, as instead of just being this cold stone killer, to finally being like, okay, I want to actually put my cause into motion.
Yeah.
Totally. No, I couldn't agree more. I think
Yeah.
that was just in as a whole missing from season 1,
Yep.
like from any character. I'm specifically glad that they used the Widow to kind of embody
Yeah.
this deeper sense of meaning and purpose and like what their motives are, because I don't think really anybody aside from want more power,
Right, yeah.
you know, was present in season 1, and to see her kind of run with that, and it feels so real. It gives such a like heavier weight to everything
Yeah.
that she's doing.
Yeah, because I felt like at the time she was just this person who was just out for revenge in her own way, or just out for just blood in general, like no pun intended there. Since there's a lot of blood on the show for TV-14.
Yes.
That's all I'm
True.
gonna say.
I like it.
But yeah, so I'm glad that we're finally gonna get more of a story from her, and I love that we're seeing Tilda get more. She's becoming stronger, and butterflies. They're called butterflies.
Butterflies.
I believe.
Nice.
I could be wrong, but that's
Well,
what
the throwing stars look like butterflies.
Butterflies.
Too, so yeah.
So maybe, I don't know. We'll have to look into that later. But that Tilda is becoming more confident, because we did have that weird ending on season 1 where they had the poisons all lined up.
Yeah,
Right.
So we didn't
was
know.
it the tincture, she said.
Yeah.
And then, the
so
3
we were like,
bottles
is
light
she
up.
gonna do it? Is she
Yeah.
not? And then clearly they're working through it.
Yeah.
Totally fine.
They're talking about
Yeah,
the
because it was what a
problems.
6-month jump from
Right.
season
Yeah.
1 to this.
Yes,
So
yes.
that was
And,
covered.
and I'm glad that they told us how much
Yes.
time has
And we
passed.
they hit the ground running. We're not
Yeah.
kind of just picking right up because it is a year later for us
Right.
as
Yeah.
fans.
Yeah.
No, exactly. I mean, there's a lot has changed, so I'm very curious to see what surprises they
Yeah.
reveal and kind of roll out slowly. But at the same time, it's not like that much time has passed where like
Right, yeah.
it's a
Yeah.
whole new thing.
Yeah.
And like they're like like
A
all
whole
of
new
this
Badland. But
yeah, exactly. I really like to see sort of the transformation take place
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
in stages.
I think I asked Mike this earlier, but I wanted to know what the fans think and what you think, John, of the fact that we have Nick Frost in the show
Yes.
now.
Yes,
And we all know
love
him
him.
from, he's my favorite.
Yeah.
But when he was first introduced, like, months ago, that he was going to be part of the show, I was like, oh, I'm so excited. But I was like, I did remember that season 1 was a little bit more serious.
Right.
So maybe Nick Frost's humor might offset the seriousness, but I felt like he fit perfectly in the world, and that
Oh, sure.
he seems like
Yeah.
that type of person who's like, I'm only here for me, and you need to help me out, and then I'll help you out, and then maybe we'll see where it
Yeah.
goes.
Yeah.
So I'm really glad that they kept that, because I was just scared that because of like the I don't know the name of the trilogy, but you know what I'm talking, like Hot Fuzz, Shaun of the Dead kind of humor.
The Coronado trilogy.
Thank you. Like, I just felt like it might have been a little off, but I'm also really happy to see Nick Frost in anything else. So.
Yeah.
There was a good dynamic between the two of them.
Yeah.
It was really played
Yeah.
nicely.
Yeah,
afraid of
I completely agree. I mean, it was a huge fan. Hot Fuzz like totally
yeah.
won me over. Like
Yeah.
I love Bad Boys 2 and Point Break, so
Yeah.
that movie was like just
That's
perfection.
perfect for
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
But yeah, I thought he did a great job. I was a little concerned that it might take the series too far. I've definitely seen like Boondock Saints 2 comes to mind. Like that,
Yeah.
they totally fumbled the like adding
Okay, I see what
comedy.
you- yeah.
in it.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the fact that they did go for it and it worked.
Right.
I don't know if you guys have seen the new King Kong.
I have not yet.
Yes.
No, no, no.
Okay.
Yes,
Well,
I
yeah, I mean,
have.
John C. Reilly is like plays a similar role.
Right, yeah.
And again, I think it does work in a similar way, like where they do it just enough,
Okay.
but it's not like overpowering. It is something that was missing from season
No,
one.
I agree.
And I think it kind of adds a fresh layer that kind of breaks the intensity up.
Yeah. I mean, I obviously with his character, I'm like, I don't know how I feel about you either. But
Well, yeah, I
like,
totally screwed the pooch at the end.
but I feel like there's a greater plan happening because
Ooh,
clearly
interesting.
from like our trailers and things, it looks like
I
they're
think-
working together.
I don't think at the end. I think he did that on purpose to
Oh,
sell him
okay.
out with
So-
him being a Clipper and said, "Hey, he's a Clipper." I think that's the two of them working it out.
Okay.
Interesting.
Unless I don't know, it's going to go either way. But I think.
I mean,
yeah.
You think he's gonna be
Like-
ultimately like redeemed? In
I
some
think
way?
he knows
Okay.
that's his way out.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's we'll see later that they had formulated
Yeah.
that way to go about it.
Oh, that'd be nice. I would like to see that because in the trailers, or at least the teasers that we saw for the next episode and the rest of the season, you can clearly tell they're out of...
Oh yeah, they make it out.
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
that's,
so
yeah.
there must have been something.
No, I would champion that theory. I feel like the season one again was just like the buddy system of MK and Sunny, and to have something similar but different and much more complex. Like
Yeah,
they
completely different
obviously
dynamic.
Yeah.
Sunny and I forgot. It's like hard to say. It's like
Oh,
Baj.
Baji, I thought.
Baji,
or
Baji, yeah.
Yeah, it was something crazy. If
Yeah.
anybody knows how to pronounce it, let us know.
Yeah,
Because I have
type
no
it
idea.
phonetically in the
Baji.
I know
chat,
it's,
maybe.
it's B-A-J...
Yeah, there's an I in
IE.
there. Yeah, craziness.
so-
Anyway, I love that it's like sort of like an odd couple thing happening.
Which, is,
God, yeah.
which actually made sense. Since Sunny
Yeah.
had MK, it was more of like that annoying, like,
Yeah, mentor,
mentor-mentee
yeah. Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of like relationship. Now it's like, oh, we're kind of on equal ground because I've definitely seen footage of
Right.
Nick Frost kicking ass and taking different shapes inside. The fact that it's well diverse, there's a lot of women on this show of all shapes and colors.
Just as strong as
And-
the guys.
Yeah, exactly. Especially in that scene with Tilda. Oh my god. And just, yeah, it's just a very well thought out show that shows you array of everything. And I think that Nick Frost just literally
Terry. So and then at the end we had the order of the monks that came with to get MK. It's all these different diverse groups, and they're so different yet they fit.
Right.
It's weird. It's just weird. It's like a melting pot, but somehow
Yeah.
it just works.
Totally. No,
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of imagine that's what the future would be. I mean, again,
Yeah.
if there was these societal walls that broke down and there weren't really like countries anymore, and
Yeah.
there was just kind of a melting pot, like that's probably
Yeah.
what it would be.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm really intrigued to see where this goes, especially since our ending was so.
Oh my God! All right, let's talk about it.
Yay!
Let's do it.
I did not think he was back.
Yeah,
I thought
he
he
No,
was
I
got,
thought
like,
he was dead.
He
We were
got
done.
stabbed.
We were
He
done.
got stabbed
That's
like
not even just
viciously.
I went back and watched. I actually went and bought the Blu-ray of season one because there's so much special
Yeah, it's on my
features, and I
waiting list.
wanted it to have it.
Yeah.
And I went back and watched it right before the season two, and I was like, "Oh, he's dead." They
Yeah.
run
Yeah.
him through with a
No,
sword.
he was laying there
Yeah.
like in the dirt.
Exactly.
It's such a good moment.
Sonny
Yeah,
knows how to
it was
kill
so
people.
You're holding that up with somebody
Yeah.
saying, you're gonna die
Right.
with my hands, and it's just to see that, remember it happening. I was like, oh, he
Yeah.
deserved it after that season.
Heck yeah.
But now,
And to have him like alive and well, and
And
also
helping.
like helping
Veil.
Veil
with
with
the
her
baby.
baby boy Sonny. No.
I don't know how I feel
Oh,
about this.
Mini Sonny.
Veil,
That is,
yeah.
he's way too close to Mini Sonny.
No, I mean, again, I'm very intrigued to see how this happened because clearly we saw her in that town finding Sonny's
Right.
broken sword. So
Yeah.
he must have been barely alive. She's a doctor, probably figured something out. I mean, she's been helping him for not years, but like their family's
Right.
been their family doctor. So I guess she just knows. My prediction is she just knows his anatomy very well and was just able to help. But I don't like this interaction. It
Yeah.
really worries the crap out of me.
I'm kind of concerned, not concerned, but he's still dying. He's still got those.
That's right.
So he's still got whatever, we don't know what it was. I remember
Right.
the doctor had said, and he killed the doctor and his wife, and well, it was Val's parents.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah,
That
no,
was
totally.
Val,
It was.
and
Yeah.
he killed. And
That's
she
what's
knows.
so crazy.
I
mean,
forgot about
yeah,
that.
No,
yeah,
it's
so
intense.
that's why I want to know what's happening with this interaction.
Well, yeah, part of me, and like, I'm just gonna throw something out there.
Go
Let
for
me
it.
know
No,
you
I
guys
wanna
feel.
know.
I feel like what if it's a dream that Sonny's having, like or a nightmare, more likely.
Yeah,
Because I mean, he kind of had a vision early on in the episode, just like seeing her. I just feel like Vale is a very smart woman, and she like the Baron's the last person that she would want to be with.
I mean,
in that
maybe
moment.
there was something, maybe because of the fact she knew that she wouldn't be able to deliver this baby by herself in some point.
And-
maybe they made
Right.
like a pact, like she's like, I know where he is, and if you keep me alive.
And it was kind of like civil between them.
No,
Yeah.
it seemed
wasn't
very
this-
nice.
I don't know.
He like delivered
There
like
was
a
no
very nice
hate
birth
in their
yeah.
eyes there.
I don't know.
Yeah, it
Well,
was
again,
very.
it's also been 6 months, so I don't know.
I know, that's what I'm
happened in
saying.
6 months.
They talked about it. It's all good.
What if?
don't
But
know.
that's what I mean. We were just
don't
talking
know.
about like how shocking he's alive because Sonny, who knows very well how to kill people,
Yep.
stabbed him like with a sword.
Again,
So I mean, how can you go from being stabbed by someone?
Again, Vela's a doctor.
Cut
She
to-
must just know something. Was able to just save him like barely. I don't know. I also want to talk about MK because the fact that we obviously see him in a new location. We have a whole new group of people that we're introduced to.
Right.
And they're all gifted and with the same gift. Which reminds me of that last scene in the season finale with everybody. So cool. But we get to meet the master, and it's this lady.
And
who-
she's just master.
Yeah.
They
yeah,
haven't gotten
like she doesn't have a
right?
name.
It's
She doesn't have
master, the
anything. She's
master.
just the master, and I guess we kind of learned that Sunny is actually not Sunny. MK is actually more powerful than we thought.
Yes, I mean that fight scene was super cool. I mean, it's always nice when MK like exhibits all these like crazy moves
Yeah.
and like powers, but then like still gets beaten
Oh,
down.
yeah.
Because he's a lot to learn, and I love that training element of seeing sort of how crazy like this thing inside him like can take control,
She pushed
but also
her bone back into her body
Oh,
and
that was
healed
pretty gross.
herself.
And she's just kind of like
it
went along,
hurts.
just
So
like, it hurts,
nonchalantly,
but we
just
do
like-
it.
I mean, it looked like she was in pain, but she was just like, I gotta do this.
yeah, just real quick. I gotta
Okay,
reset my
we're good.
bones.
Oh, God, so crazy. So like, it's very. I'm intrigued to see also how his training is gonna end up
Yes.
like, and also clearly she can handle it, but it
Right.
also because he's the strongest out of the group that she's ever seen. Do we think this might be a problem?
I'm just so curious about all of them. I don't know what's going on. Like,
Right.
it's just, like, are they the chosen one, but chosen to what? To unite the Badlands?
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah,
why they have this in this world yet. I think
Yeah.
none of us do. So
Right.
that's kind of the
Yeah, yeah.
story.
And that's what I like about this is because we have a whole new story to open up.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I'm also still trying to figure out, like, are you going to use them as an army? Or are you just trying to keep them hidden so that no one does
And
use them as an army?
Is there a big bad? Because for
Yeah.
season 1, it's Quinn.
Right.
But
Yeah.
now Quinn's kind of leveled. The, you
I
know,
guess.
I
Yeah,
don't think he's
maybe,
gonna
or
be
yeah.
the
Yeah.
big bad. Is there something that unites them all? You know?
I have no idea.
Or is this going to be Sonny's trek back to the Badlands and his
Maybe.
travels getting there?
I mean, this could be
for
that part
showdown?
of like that, like as a person who plays a lot of video games, this might be that time where you have to like collect your group of people and then kind of go from there.
Yes, yeah.
So mystical season 3 maybe
Yeah,
we'll get like
Just
that big bad.
max out
Right.
all your attributes.
Yeah, and then you
and
gotta level
skills.
up, and then when you
Yeah.
get to the big bad, maybe we'll have one. I mean, but you're right. I don't know who our main villain is,
Right, because
for this one,
I
'cause-
don't think it'll be Quinn. I think,
and it can't be Widow because clearly she's just trying to.
yeah, and this show does
Right.
so well with building and turning our expectations. So they wouldn't just rehash season 1 of having a
No.
Widow
Totally.
Quinn
Yeah.
duel eventually with
Exactly.
Sonny in the mix. I
I
think.
mean,
Yeah.
yeah, Ryder, I think is going to be a problem. I
Maybe
hope
Ryder's-
he's not the only problem.
Yeah, I was
though.
gonna say, I was like, maybe Ryder's our big bad right now, just for now.
Right,
and then
right,
maybe
yeah.
we'll get
Yeah.
introduced to another one, because like. I feel like with the mind, I mean, I don't know if the minds are just for the next 2 episodes and then we're gonna move away, move
okay.
on from that, or if maybe those people who own the mines, maybe they might come after them, and then we kind of have that.
I
big bad.
actually
Yeah.
thought the minds would have been over this episode because the
Yeah.
way it was. I thought watching it, I thought because it moved so fast. I thought
It did.
he was going to be put in the pit
Yeah.
and escaped with Baji right then, and
Yeah.
that minds are done. But I guess not.
I guess not. I mean, it's fine because I'm totally fine with having a little bit more time with Nick
Yeah.
Frost and them, and then
Yeah,
seeing
and that
the big
slave
fight.
owner is like really wacky. I mean, in a good way.
Yeah, that actor's
Yeah.
fantastic. And I loved every little I think the one thing that's also with their bigger budget is their costumes are more
Yes,
are more
100%.
detailed. Like the fact
Just
that there's
everything.
that weird gold like clip in the middle of his lip.
Yeah.
And it bothers me because I'm just like, but yeah. So I love that they're clearly there's a lot of dirt involved, but there's a lot of extras and things like that. And he
Yeah.
had like 5 to 8 different rings on his fingers. Like it was just really cool. The widows have new, or the butterflies and the widow have new attire. Like it just looks really interesting.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think Ryder and possibly maybe the mining company might be
Maybe.
our baddies for now, and then maybe we'll get a big one towards the end.
Right. No,
That's my prediction.
it's totally cool. I mean, I feel like this show is borrowing like the best pieces from like all these shows that I watch and
Yeah.
love.
Steal from the steal
No,
the best
steal
stuff
from the
and make
best.
it your
Totally.
own.
Yeah.
Exactly, and it's totally working. I mean, I felt like it was very Game of Thronesy how
Oh,
they were
yeah.
kind of like
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
these factions working without like one person to
Yeah.
or one thing that was like everybody was hating.
Yeah.
It's kind of a gray area, and I kind of like that concept moving forward in terms of it, of the longevity of it. Like there
Yeah.
isn't real like are the monks like bad? Like you know,
Right.
it seems like they're doing everything like well and they would be just, but like maybe they're trying to like conquer everybody.
I mean, yeah.
Or,
I
like,
mean, you never know.
And
You know, this-
I mean, I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut
No,
you-
I was just saying like this slave situation. Obviously, it's negative for Sonny, but like
Right.
you don't know sort of who they're working for.
Exactly.
It's just like having that gray area and like it's so undefined, like good versus evil, is kind of a cool problem in itself to have.
Yeah.
And we were just talking a little bit before the show. Like one of my favorite characters that we didn't see this episode was Lydia. Her name is right.
Yeah, Lydia.
Quinn's original wife.
Yeah.
Who is now with that kind of monkish monastery with Lance Hendrickson,
I
which is
call
her
it a
kind
cult,
of birth
but
father.
yeah.
Now, are they going to be because she's been in previews, so she's
Right.
going to
Yeah,
be
she
there.
has to be there.
So
yeah.
is what's that element going to bring to it? Because that whole table, it's not even part of the barons or anything. That's a whole nother element. Maybe
Yes.
the mysticism between them and the monks with the master. Maybe
Yeah,
that's
maybe.
Ooh, whoa,
That
it's like a
comes in-
religious war.
Yeah,
I
so-
mean, 'cause that would be kind of interesting because we
know.
were mostly just kind of like not fan building, but like we were building the our characters just as that. But now to actually have more stable into the
Yeah.
world itself would be really smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting.
No, plus, I mean,
Ooh.
I love that character. I love Lydia. Like,
I
her
think
character
she's
was
yeah,
so
like,
she's
good.
so
just-
good.
yeah, her acting, like, her power was
Yeah.
so
Ooh.
price. Like, she could just, like, own every scene, and that's so cool to
Yeah.
see. I would love her to come back and just dominate. Like, maybe she overtakes, like, the whole writer. Like,
I want to see her.
Oh my god,
situation.
yeah, I would love that.
Man.
I'm gonna add to yours by saying that maybe because Widow is trying to bring in this whole like we don't need barons, we don't need any of this.
Yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah.
This is my way of life, and you can follow me, or you can follow what Lydia's family and religion is all about, or you can kind of go into I guess the master's way. So you have like a bunch of different. Not different religions, but literally just different pathways that all have to meet up together, and then
Yeah.
maybe that's our big fight is between all of them in that
Yeah.
aspect, and so we'll have just
Oh man,
a
just
big-
massive battle royale.
Right.
That'd be
I'm okay
so
with this.
cool. Let's do that.
Yeah.
Into the Badlands. Write that down. If not in season 2, season 3.
Oh yeah, the mystical season 3.
Yeah.
I want it.
Yeah, so cool. I mean, I love all of the fight scenes. Like they, again, like we were kind of talking, or I was talking about
No,
how
no.
they were borrowing some elements and bigger concepts, but they really try to innovate. I think even the first one where Sonny's like in that like arm brace,
Yeah.
thing, like that was so cool. It was something I've never seen before, and
Yep.
it made sense to what he like the stage he was in,
Yep.
everything, and it was like so cool. To see him
Yeah, 'cause
adapt.
as
in
a
that
person
way.
who is in martial arts, I'm always trying to say, okay, if I was in the situation, how would I react? Obviously,
Right.
this is in a mystical world, so you can fly to
Yeah.
a point.
Yes.
So clearly, I cannot do that. But I loved that you brought up that scene because the fact that he couldn't get through the hallway, which I love that like most Marvel shows right now
Yeah, their
have a
hallway
hallway
fight.
scene.
Yeah, exactly.
So
You
he
gotta
had like
get
a
through the
mini
hallway.
one, but like the fact that he's like, I can't do this, so I'm gonna turn sideways, climb up, and then land,
that was
Yeah.
cool.
and then use my legs. Insane. I mean, we all know as if you are a martial artist, you know that you can't technically kill somebody by doing that. Like there's not enough
Right.
force for you. I mean, maybe, but like it's never been proven. It's only in movies. So for me to think of him like using his feet to crack his head, like to kill somebody,
That's
is
pretty cool.
It's hilarious to me. But like, yeah. So like, so was that your favorite fight scene of the
Yeah,
episode?
I think so. I think so.
What was yours?
That one because it
Yeah.
was just we've seen a guy chained up before.
Yes.
But and then they took it to another level that we didn't see him utilizing that environment like
Right.
like he had there. So
Yeah.
you know it's tough, and we talked a little bit about it.
Yeah.
And there's a little show on another network, Netflix,
Oh,
about a
yeah.
martial artist
Yes.
Yes.
that everyone, including myself, had high hopes for. That this is what they should be doing on that show.
Right.
I agree.
Right.
Yeah.
No,
This, I mean,
But
and they
also-
are probably have a bigger budget a show like
Right.
that. And this
Yeah.
is, I mean, even with the mysticism and the foreign lands, it's like I wish people would have gotten on with season 1 of Into the Badlands because it was so good. But
so
now I think this came out 2 days after that show.
Yeah.
The best time because everything online is going. If you're disappointed with this and what you didn't get, go to
Watch
Into the
this one.
Badlands.
Right, right.
Because it is that.
Totally, and that's what's so interesting.
It's like-
and
Before we do that,
Right,
I
sorry.
have not watched the show
Totally.
that we're talking about.
Okay.
Clearly,
I haven't
do not
either.
put spoilers
I
in
haven't
the
either.
chat. I'm gonna be really upset.
totally, yeah. I mean,
I will block
obviously,
you.
I'm 7 in.
It's all good. I will
Yeah.
block you. Okay, continue.
totally no. Yeah, that said, please have courtesy for people who are
Thank you.
Yes.
binging at their own pace.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, obviously there's a lot of parallels being drawn between these two shows.
Very
They're
similar
released-
shows.
Yeah, very
Yes,
similar
quite.
in concept, in like worlds. You know, I think was a huge gamble for
Yes.
Into the Badlands to come out at the same time,
Very
knowing
much so.
because I think Iron Fist they put their time out like pretty long ago.
I think they
Yes.
kind of knew in
Yeah.
advance.
I think
Yeah.
they both did, but I mean, again, for both network, they can obviously adjust.
And-
Yeah,
But-
clearly.
Yeah, Into the Badlands
Right.
could have said, you know what? All right, we'll come out April
Right,
17th
right.
or whatever. But they didn't. I don't know if they knew in advance with what they had, as opposed to what was on the other thing. But
Yeah, no, I forgot to
It's a
check
gamble, man,
which
for them.
release date came out first. Fans,
Yeah.
if you guys know, definitely write that in because I'd be interested to know sort of who struck first with their date.
But it
Yeah,
worked in
no,
their
I
favor.
believe-
it totally
believe,
worked in their
yeah.
favor because obviously it shouldn't be any shock that the other show we're
Right.
talking about
Yeah.
hasn't been critically reviewed superbly. Way to capitalize again.
Oh.
Obviously, the production for both of shows takes a long time, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
the fact that everything sort of landed where it did, it definitely benefits. I mean, Into the Badlands.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm really proud that we, especially since I believe we talked about it. I know that we don't have a lot of time left, but I believe that at least we discussed that the people who do choreograph Into the Badlands are the same company or group that did Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Right? Yeah, I
Also,
think
it's
there's a lot
Hong
of
Kong based.
overlap.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would think.
Yeah, I
'cause
would
they-
think so. I couldn't remember, and I don't want
It
to
looks
quote that just
so-
in case if I'm incorrect, but I believe that was like the whole hype of
Okay.
Right,
when
for-
we first
for
got the
season
first
one,
season
yeah.
one. So I'm just hoping that it will. They're gonna up the ante now
Yes.
because now we're on season 2,
And I.
and Iron Fist is not doing so hot.
Even then, like I know we've seen the videos of the actors in the training camp.
Oh my god.
I can't tell times when they're stunt doubles. And I'm sure they use stunt doubles.
Of course, they have to be
But
careful.
I cannot tell
Nope.
when they're using. Even like people like MK, younger kids that are still in Tilda. Like you're like, they're really
Well-
good. And the training we were seeing, like they're doing splits and
No,
flips. The
I think-
actors themselves. So I'm
Didn't
like,
Artemis tell us, or Artemis, wait, did I say that correctly?
Aramis.
Aramis, oh my god. It's been a long day. But the fact that when he came onto our show last, oh my god, it was
Yeah,
like almost a
season
year and a
one.
half ago. That he was like, he's like, I don't think he mentioned he had a stunt double, but he did say that they went through a crap ton of training.
Oh,
To do that, and so like Tilda and everybody, I think Daniel Wu actually helps out a lot
Sure.
as well. So like I can imagine the training camp for them, but I can also
but it pays
assume-
off.
Yeah,
Because you believe it, you want to see your
Right.
actors in it, and they can shoot it where it's the actor, and it's so cool.
And I think he said that he was really, really happy because now he knows these things
Right.
that can be used in
In,
obviously we
real
don't-
life
Yeah, I mean, obviously we don't want him to be in
Right.
harm's way,
Yeah,
but at
that's-
least he can help. He can defend himself, which is great.
We were having
True.
a problem with this about the other show, talking
Yeah.
about it, where if a person is a martial artist or they are trained to be in a scene like this, they carry themselves differently. And every person on this show carries themselves like they can take care of themselves.
Mm-hmm.
They know how to fight. They move a certain way. And they've trained the actors to just move like that.
Yeah.
So you believe it. In other shows, regardless of which one we're talking about, you can tell when that person either hasn't been trained right or they don't have the
or
mindset
it's
that they're
just
putting in
cut
on.
Right.
in a certain way for you to
Yes.
look like that. Yeah.
So this show, everyone on the show is believable in that
Well,
role.
yeah, and that's why I love any time when someone's like, "Oh, how do you feel about the choreography for this show and this show?" I'm like, "Just watch Into the Badlands," because
Right.
as a person who's
Yes.
been doing martial arts since they were like 3, like it's huge for me to see very calm, collected people who know how to react, and it's not like you're reacting before the hit is already coming towards you,
Right.
which happens in a lot of shows. And so it's really nice to see that the staff work and the weaponry work, the fact when Tilda throws one of the butterfly throwing stars, it's not like
Yeah.
it's clearly like
Right.
she knows exactly what direction it's going. And clearly that's CG.
Right.
But she knows
knows how to throw it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and her eye line is correct. Like it's not like she's looking up while the star is
Right.
going straight into the camera. Like it's clearly whoever is training them to do that, they understand where and how they're supposed to move their body. Which is
Right.
great.
Yeah. The care that went into everything, like the minute details that they went to show that is very apparent, and I really respect that.
Yeah.
You know, obviously we were talking about sort of this rivalry between shows, and I think even though there is like probably schools of thought that like pick sides, I think it's great for the genre as a whole that there are like, kind of a competition base. I mean, like I'm glad that we might be on the winning side maybe, but you know, it's really cool that I feel like if one of these shows came out like and didn't do well, then there would be a backlash from the network. Like, oh, maybe we can't pull this off.
Yes, and
you know, maybe there isn't an audience for that.
Yeah.
And I think that every show stands alone. Even there are similarities, but everything should be kind of taken by itself. And if one doesn't work, it doesn't mean that something else in a very similar setting can't be amazing.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that because the fact that now we do have two shows that are kind of similar to a point that we might be able to have more shows. And have more diversity and all that kind of stuff. And just the fact that I would like to see more martial art based shows do well. Instead of just seeing like cheesy movies.
I cannot imagine what the showrunners how they had to pitch this show.
Yeah, right?
Because it's martial arts, Hong Kong style, but steampunk. There's no weaponry anywhere.
I mean,
everyone kind of speaks differently. There's different factions, like, and there is nothing like this on TV before. You can't say, well, it's this meets this. I mean, Game of Thrones, but what else you could? It's Game of Thrones meets Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's
and that's
so
not a good
many
pitch
elements.
because everyone's like, Mortal Kombat, nope.
Yeah, that sounds weird. I don't want it.
So to get it on the air, and then you did a second season with more episodes, it wasn't even like, okay, we'll just give you 6 again.
Right.
Yeah.
So hats off to them.
No,
for
totally.
creating this
I think-
fantastic world.
Yeah, I think AMC did a really good job putting the show
Yes,
up
and having the faith in it.
everything. Yeah, I mean, like, I know we have to wrap, but like, there's another Netflix show called Sense8 where there is a character from South Korea who is a fighter, and she's a female, and like, there are times where they have to interchange because it's like a whole in-body experience where these people are all connected and they can switch out for things.
Right.
So if someone's in a fight, you can switch with her and she will fight for you.
Cool.
But like you get to see the same actor doing the same exact moves as this person.
Oh.
So it's like that. So the fact that it doesn't look fake, all these people had the same training, they know exactly the same moves. So like that's not a place that's in this type of like fantasy setting, but it's sci-fi, and the fact that you could still have that. So I'm hoping that we get more of that in different genres because I think it would be really cool to see that.
As do I.
Also,
I mean,
I would watch Game of Thrones Mortal Kombat. So I'll just say.
Oh, 100%.
That wasn't this.
I mean, yeah. Again, at the end of the day, I think all of this like is good. I mean, whether I just hope more of all the awesomeness.
Yes, please, especially for this season because it's gonna be good, guys.
I can't
Now
wait.
they are doing all 10 straight through, right?
I believe
Once
so.
a week. Okay,
Yes.
they're not going to take gaps like sometimes network
I mean,
television.
Hopefully not. Yeah,
hopefully
we'll
not.
double
Crossing
check
our
the.
fingers.
Yeah, I don't want it to be
schedule.
like a 5 and then 5, like a Walking
I
Dead.
mean, it might.
Please
It might.
don't.
It's AMC sometimes,
We'll
guys.
see.
They do the
I know,
maddening
they do
crap.
that. They do.
They do.
Oh, no.
We'll see what happens. We'll keep
Yeah.
everybody updated as the time
Yes,
goes on.
all right.
Yeah, I know.
Absolutely.
I feel you. I
Damn
just
it.
want to get through it.
But at least next week we will be on at the
Yes.
same
Yes,
time.
yes.
So definitely tune in then. Until then, where can they find you?
Guys, you can find me at all social media at Mike Kalinowski.
You can find me all over social media at ATORS890. Definitely, guys, share this video out so that we can get everybody else who probably just jumped onto the Into the Badlands bandwagon. Come on over because we want to talk about it with you guys, especially if you're a newcomer. Because I'd love to know what you guys think.
It's a good train.
Yeah.
Definitely
Yes.
hop on. You guys can find me everywhere at Hey John Blake. Tune in next week.
Bye, guys.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.